Yo, what's good? My name is Noble Stede, and today is your lucky day because I'm going to show you how to obtain Pokemon Magierna in 2025. And at the end of this video, you'll have all the knowledge required to complete this challenge and be able to collect your special set of pixels that you and I both desperately want for some reason. And there are a lot of special tips, tricks, secrets that are not clarified online. I want to make this video to make the process of getting a special Magierna easier because this is exactly what the world needs right now. Some people may look at this challenge and say, yeah, this is easy. Yeah, sure. It'll only take me like a week, two, maybe a month tops. And to that I say, you're dead wrong. You're absolutely wrong. You have no reason to be thinking like that, you goofball. And let me just say, for this bit, I tried to do my best drawing of Goofy from a particular animation studio. I'm not sponsored by them, so I don't want to include them in here, and I don't want to get copyright claimed or anything. But I don't want my drawing to go to waste. So I'm gonna quickly get through the next slide and just move on. Okay, great. So here are some questions that I want to have resolved by the end of this video. First of all, what is the absolute minimum requirement needed to get the Pokemon? Second, what Pokemon titles will I specifically need? And third, what is the cheapest way to get a legit special Magierna without spending more money on additional games? Now let's jump into it. The minimum requirement to get Pokeball Magierna is to complete the Pokemon National Pokedex in Pokemon Home. And let me specify even further, you need to complete it in Pokemon Home only, meaning you do not need to have your Pokedex completed in Scarlet and Violet or any of the mainline games. I want to also make it clear, the Pokedex data in Pokemon Home is the only requirement for this challenge, so there's no need to create a living dex, meaning you do not need to have all Pokemon inside Pokemon Home at once. Obviously, this should be obvious to everybody, you do not need shinies. Pretty cut and dry. And you don't need each regional mon. So if you have a Galarian Meowth from Sword and Shield, you do not need Cantonian Meowth and Alolan Meowth. You just need Galarian Meowth, one of the Meowths. However, for the evolution, you do need Berserkers different from Persian. So take that as you will. The next requirement to get Pokeball Magierna is you only need to catch up to 890. So this is at the end of baseline Gen 8 Sword and Shield. So you do not need to catch the Generation 9 Pokemon. So yeah, the last Pokemon it goes only up to Eternatus. So you can take your Scarlet and Violet and Hidden Treasure area, your Area 0, and throw it right in the dumpster. You do not need that garbage. On second thought, you actually do need that garbage because it's the easiest and fastest way to get all of the Pokemon that are in the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Pokedex. So let's just say there's a Talonflame is in Scarlet and Violet, and the only way to get Talonflame is in X and Y, or I believe it's also in Omega Ruby. There's a couple 3DS tiles that you can find this Pokemon. Rather than searching for it in the 3DS and then transferring it up, it's much easier to just catch it in Scarlet and Violet and then transfer it over to Home. But there's two different methods to this. You can do either one, whichever one's you're more comfortable with. It's just Scarlet and Violet is that the Pokemon are already in the overworld, whereas you have to search in the grass for the 3DS Pokemon. That's why Scarlet and Violet is the best one to search for Pokemon. So you might want to hold on to that. By the way, I want to let everyone in on this secret. The secret's not that this was a trading card at some point in the TCG. A secret so crucial, and it revolutionizes how simple this challenge can be. And it's so good that it'll absolutely make you. And this secret is so good, it'll make you soil your pants straight up. So strap in, get a belt, whatever you need, get your adult diaper, and realize you don't even need to pay for Pokemon Home. That's the hint. You may have already assumed that, but let me go further on this. You may be assuming, wow, you need to have all the Pokemon inside Pokemon Home in order to obtain Pokemon Magierna. And that I say, you do not. You do not need to get every single Pokemon in Pokemon Home. You just need to have the Pokedex data in Pokemon Home filled out. So what I have on here on my screen, is the Pokemon Bank Pokedex. So let's just say hypothetically, for example, this is your Pokemon Bank Pokedex. You have a Charmander and Charmeleon, Charizard, and Caterpie, and all that. Everything that's highlighted. Let's just say you have all those Pokemon in there right now. So what you want to do is you want to move Pokemon to Pokemon Home, and let's just say you want to move over a Bruxish. Actually, Pokemon Home does not want your Bruxish, so let's just say they want your Absol. You want to trade over an Absol, which if you do that, yep, it'll take your Absol with open arms. And also, what it'll do, it'll ask for your Pokemon Bank Pokedex data as well. So as long as you transfer the Absol to Pokemon Home, you'll also transfer your Charmander through Charmeleon, Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard data into Pokemon Home. So as if you had Charmander through Charmeleon in Pokemon Home already. So just saying your Pokedex over over a course of your Pokemon journey is that's what it was trying to do. And that's what helps with this challenge, because you can just catch the Pokemon in your 3DS, or you already have a lot of the Pokemon in your 3DS. All you have to do is transfer one Pokemon and all your data is transferred. And you want to pretty much do this before Pokemon Bank closes permanently. You can't get on the eShop right now, but I mean, what I was told, a little birdie told me that you can homebrew your 3DS to get Bank on it. But I'm not the one saying these things. I'm not the one saying it. So, as it says in the Ten Commandments, one shall not shoot the messenger. I was saying that Scarlet and Violet is not really a required title, but there are actually some required titles, and it's a bit complicated. I will give you two that are absolute musts to have. The first one being Sword and Shield. The reason why is because in order to get the Sword exclusive Mons, this is the easiest. Obviously, this is the easiest game to get them. They're not really available in Scarlet and Violet. So if you have Scarlet and Violet, you're not going to be much luck. But the main point is getting the legendary Pokemon in this game. The baseline legendary Pokemon in this game. So Zacian, Zamazenta, and Eternatus are only available in Sword and Shield. I mean, you can also argue that Zacian and Zamazenta are in Pokemon Go. However, they're not always in Pokemon Go. Sword and Shield baseline game, they're always in that. They're always in that. Yeah, I don't even think Eternatus is in Pokemon Go either. So it's something to think about. I would consider this a required title for this challenge. And the next one is Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. If you do not have the Scarlet and Violet DLC, then getting Solgaleo and Lunala are hard. And if you do not have the Sword and Shield DLC as well, I think that might be in Dynamax Adventures. I'm not 100% sure because I don't have the Sword and Shield DLC. But they could be in that as well. But those aren't the reason why I listed it as a required title. The reason why is because of regular Magearna. Regular Magearna can only be found in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and Sun and Moon. So all you need to do is scan this QR code on your 3DS, and boom, you're done. By the way, let me just add, in order to scan the QR code through your 3DS, you need to beat the mainline game of Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, or Ultra Moon first, which takes forever, because there's so much dialogue in those games. And this is what I like to call the Pokeball Magearna Trifecta. These are the three games that will pretty much carry you to victory. Why do I say that? Is because the amount of Pokemon found in Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet are a whopping 716 Pokemon. That is a crazy amount. The percentage of completion, just by having these two games alone, is 80%. And I want to also factor in that this includes the Scarlet and Violet DLC, but not the Sword and Shield DLC. So I didn't include that in the picture. However, the Scarlet and Violet DLC gets you so much more Pokemon. And the remaining 20% are very hard to find. They're going to be very hard to find. And this is where I'm going to elaborate on this later. And I'm going to leave this, and this is where the last 20% is going to be based off of your decision. Because Pokemon Legends Z actually might help you with this. And it also depends on what games you have. So let me go to the next slide. So we completed the minimum requirements. We went over that, and we went over the required Pokemon titles. But I want to really emphasize, what is the cheapest and most optimal way to obtain? I want to really highlight optimal. it is important to optimize and spend less time searching for other Pokemon when going through this challenge. So let's get started. But first, halt. You need a halt, because the first thing you have to do, you should have a tracker. But I think it is essential to use a tracker, because it'll show you exactly where you keep your Pokemon and whether you've already tracked them in Pokemon Home, as if their Pokedex data is already registered in Pokemon Home. This tracker I'm showing on screen is provided by Austin John Place, who's a pretty big YouTuber, but he made this Excel tracker that I showed right here. And also John Stone provided a tracker as well, and this is what it looks like. It shows that there's a check mark, there's a checkbox where you can check off each Pokemon, whether you have it in Pokemon Home or not. This is I would say this is more catered to people that want to do a living dex. They still had issues. So what I did on my personal time, I created a simplified tracker. And if you're booing me of this tracker, you are wrong. You're wrong. Because this is the best tracker in order to get Pokemon Magearna, in my opinion. Because it really cuts out, even though it doesn't look pretty, it cuts out all the fluff. So it tells you the most optimal game to get Pokemon Magearna in that first column, and the next best, and then the possible third best. And mine is the best. Let's just say mine is the best because it is optimal. It is so optimal. It is efficient to save you time on finding Pokemon Magearna. And it's sleek. It's nice and sleek rather than junky. This one, like, we want to just keep it simple. Keep it simple. But yeah, this explains why. It's cutting the fluff. It cuts the fluff. I pretty much tell you exactly which game to get it from. It is catered to modern Pokemon players who own Switch games. I'll say that, and people who have the DLCs, the Sword and Scarlet and Violet DLC. And of course, the reason why it's the best is because I made it. So, thank you so much for attending my presentation. My name is Stede. I hope you guys like this video. You could subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future. You can leave a comment down below. I'll try to respond to anybody that has questions regarding this challenge. I'm a pretty good resource, and I want this to be like an area of Reddit. It's kind of like a Reddit post. Yeah, hope you guys liked it. Thanks. Bye.